Hi, Jen. You're muted. There you are.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
How was the show? How was the market on Saturday?
It was great.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vic Lowe was in the class last time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fun.
so she's made me familiar with the market. It seems like a really cool market compared to,
Yeah, it really is.
yeah. How long have you been involved there?
Um, well, I guess so my mom's Austrian. And so everyone in my family is a different type of artist.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
Yeah, and many years ago, we started doing the market in town, Manio.
Oh, okay.
And one of the gentlemen that run the Saturday market, Eric, he went to college with my younger sister. She has a bakery.
Oh, wow.
So they have been with that market kind of since its conception. Um, and yeah, so I mean, I guess since it started, really.
Wow. Is there a decent crowd this time of year? I know it's early for the beach as far as tourism.
Yeah, it's actually extremely busy here. They're doing basically the Outer Banks is experiencing record numbers already, even this early in the season.
Wow.
Yeah. So this past weekend actually felt like Memorial Day already.
Well, I was going to come up and I thought, boy, for me, it's about a 2.5, 3 hour drive.
Yeah.
And I said, I ought to make plans to visit my cousin, not just drive up and drive back on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely take a little more time.
Yeah, because I really want to see it though. It sounds like a really cool market.
Oh yeah, the Secret Dam market's really fun. They've really stuck, I guess part of their idea for the market was to truly be a farmer's market and source locally as well as handmade. And so they've, really accomplished that. They have a great group of different farmers, fermenters, people who have honey hives. So
Wow.
they stick very true, to local and organic. So a lot of the markets here, even though they're called farmers markets, really more are art and craft markets versus,
Right.
the kind of authentic farmers market.
Yeah, I know New Bern is like that.
Yeah.
Over time, that's gotten more and more crafty rather than food.
Yeah, and so they do the CKDM market is really good about that, where they only have usually three different artists that rotate. So it's nice because it highlights the art that is there. It's not overwhelmed,
Yeah.
And then they're constantly growing and progressing. Like they last year got EBT SNAP payments.
Cool.
So that opened up kind of a whole new avenue in the community as well. So yeah, it's
Huh.
really interesting. It's always interesting to see what they're working on next,
Yeah. Tell me about your business. How did you get started, and how do you run your business now? Is it all online or a combination?
I would say it's more physical based than online. So I've always done artwork. And then trying to think, I guess maybe it was about 5 or 6 years ago, I started doing artwork more seriously. I actually went to school for therapeutic recreation and worked with kids at risk,
Oh,
and
cool.
then went back to school to explore oceanography, and then went back to do my captain's license.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I love to travel, which provides a lot of inspiration for me. But I started doing my artwork more seriously, I guess 5 or 6 years ago. Um, and then I started doing, I always had some local accounts with different galleries and stores. But I started doing, so I did maybe for 2 years, I did like the 2 and 3 day fine art shows up and down the coast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which was really fun. And I enjoyed it. But it was also very taxing. So then I took a break and did more of the galleries and store locations, um, and did just some shows. And then, so I have a really good base of galleries and stores that sell my products. Um, and then last year, with the pandemic, I had not really done, besides like the CKTN market, I had not really done any local shows in a while. But last year I decided to do local shows for the summer. So I did like 4 shows a week.
Wow.
And they were very successful because we had so many people visiting, but also they were all outdoors. So people felt really comfortable shopping in an outdoor setting. And also that, they wanted to support the local art, as well as,
Sure.
we're very happy to just be outside of their houses doing something.
Oh, absolutely.
Um,
Huh.
so I'm on like social media as far as like Instagram and Facebook. I I don't actually utilize it as much as I should, which is why I started kind of looking into different programs and courses, because I felt like maybe if I could educate myself a little bit better on it, I could streamline it a little bit better and
Right.
not be wasting a lot of time doing it.
Right. Right.
Because it's all very time consuming. But I think that it is really important because I have people who are like looking for me. And then when I finally do a post, they're like, oh my God, I've been like trying to find you. It's like, oh God, I really should be working better on this. And
Yeah.
then as far as online, I do sales. Like basically I have people reach out to me through Instagram or Facebook that are repeat customers. or for custom orders, which is also very time consuming because I have to then, take photos of whatever it is. And then it just becomes very time consuming versus
Right.
being able to just send them to a website.
Right.
And then I've been basically, my goal has been to get a website up for, I guess, maybe the last 2 or 3 years. And so when I do shows or people contact me, I just take down their email address and tell them when I get it up, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
So I have like hundreds of email addresses at this point.
Cool.
And so it's like, I really need to do this. So basically, I'm not super tech savvy.
That's
I
what
guess,
Vic said.
yeah, I guess that's like my weakness is like the whole, online website, social media. And I'll start the research to it and get kind of lost in trying to figure out what platform I should use, like how I should set up shipping, like how to actually pick the right format to be successful and to streamline it at the same time. And then I
Right.
get very overwhelmed and I don't actually go any further on it.
No, that's
Um,
understandable. That happens to a lot of people. So that's not I like to think of it. I think of all of this stuff. I call it omni-channel. In
mhm.
other words, there's all these different channels, and you have to figure out which ones your customers are comfortable using, right? It may
Right.
be social media, it might be a website, it might be a partner website. I mean, there's a
Mhm.
marketplace type website. So
Right.
there's lots of different things, and we will be able to help you with that. We'll help you with kind of the process of how we look at things and some of the things that you might be interested in trying. And then we have interns who can help you actually do it and
Oh,
implement
that's
it as,
awesome.
as well. And we also have relationships with two in particular, two organizations. One's a nonprofit that is just an amazing nonprofit out of Durham that basically hires disadvantaged youth and turn them into programmers. And then they get
Oh,
full-time
wow.
jobs. And they're all over the country. They're funded by Google and Microsoft and just a tremendous group of people. And so
Yeah.
we work with them. And then I have another guy who is the leading Shopify website maker out of Houston.
Oh, wow.
Don't ask me how we've just really connected, and he makes these unbelievable deals for my class members. Like, oh my
Wow.
God.
That's very cool.
He's done over 5,000 Shopify sites, has 50 full-time developers.
Wow.
Beautiful work, really.
Yeah.
And he knows exactly as you just described that it's a big pain in the ass. So he's really good at helping people support what they do after they do
That's
it.
really cool.
Yeah, so we'll be able to help you with that kind of stuff. And the other thing that we do, hopefully, you'll be able to share with others in the class who may be in a similar place as you, right? This
Mhm.
isn't competitive. It isn't like, oh, I'm going to keep all my secrets. It's much more like, oh, hey, I tried that one time and that sucked, or that
Right.
really worked good, or whatever. And so
Yeah.
that we're kind of a clearinghouse for that kind of stuff as
That's
well.
cool.
Yeah, and so that should work. I never know, I send out the invites and I never know how many people will actually show up. So,
Mhm.
or who in the group. We range from people who really know what they're doing to people who have no idea.
Right.
So I have to kind of figure that out as we go.
Yeah.
What should I tell these people?
Right. Right.
But we'll get there. I think people are starting to come in. Let me see if I can figure out the best way. Okay, I see. So it's kind of I see three people anyway. Let's see if I've got the right view up here. I'm gonna try something here. Um, can you guys see what looks like a classroom with heads on it?
No.
Yes,
No?
Dennis.
Who
I can, Dan.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll hold off on this until we make sure everyone gets the most up to date version of Zoom, because what Zoom just came out with, the thing where you can put everybody in an auditorium and you can see them all, so you can see who's in the class, and
Oh, that's
it's kind of
cool.
cool. But you have to have the most current update or whatever, which is free. But if you don't have that, then you just see the regular stuff that everyone else sees. So, okay, well, welcome everybody. Hey, Sydney, how are you? Okay, you're, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Hey,
I was
Madeline,
looking,
how are you? Go ahead, Sydney, I'm sorry.
I was looking for the mute button.
Oh, that's
My
okay.
Zoom wasn't updated, so I had to do it through the browser. It's a little
Oh,
different.
oh, okay. Hey, Madeline, how are you?
We're good.
All right, there's
This
two.
is Catherine.
Hey, Catherine, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So I've called this meeting for all of us to just kind of hang out and talk. And I'll repeat myself because people are coming in over time here and we're a little bit early. So what we'll do is, generally speaking, we're going to have these classes from 1 to 2, Monday through Thursday by Zoom. It's not like a formal, it's not college, it's not, like a class. I don't assign homework, there isn't any of that kind of stuff. But it's up to you to get off your butt and do stuff, right? You're gonna get information, and if you don't do it, that's your fault, not mine. So that's the other thing I want to make sure everyone understands, that the onus is on you. You can certainly reach out and ask for help, ideas. There will be some people in the class who took it last time also, and for one reason or another felt like they wanted to be involved again and listen to my abuse. So I'm always impressed with that. Chris, who's on here, is a farmer, and he usually attends class from his tractor. So that is very entertaining. He'll show us videos as he plows the field and does the class. So I always get a kick out of that. I've never had that experience before. So hi, Rachel Miller, how are you? All right.
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you fine.
Okay. Yes. And this is my husband, Dan.
Hey, Dan, how are you?
Good. How you doing today?
Good. We're gonna, people are gonna be streaming in here for a little. I'm gonna give a couple more minutes before we get started. Oh, good. Karen's on here. Hi, Karen. How are you? I know you're muted. No, this is good. Okay, we've got a good mix of people. I'm gonna wait one more minute, and then you can use the chat if you have questions, or you can just blurt. Either way, do my best to answer. Let's see. People are okay. Well, I don't know if I let them in or not. I guess we'll find out. Okay, admit. Okay. All right. Hey, Sean.
Dennis, maybe I'll get Dennis if you got a minute this afternoon, since it's raining a little bit, maybe I'll be able to give you.
Okay, I did not understand a word of whoever said that, so I apologize. Maybe you can say it again, whoever that was. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, it was Chris.
Oh, hey,
If
Chris.
you got a minute this afternoon, since it's raining, maybe I got a few minutes.
Yeah, give me a
catch
call.
up.
Yeah, give me a call.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and kind of get started. I think more people will be coming in. So welcome to Accelerate Rural North Carolina. Our program is a grant-funded program that operates under ECU and something called NC IDEA, which is a foundation that supports entrepreneurship around the state. And we run virtual accelerator. It's 1 hour, Monday through Thursday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. On Zoom. We may figure out a way to have some kind of a get together, although people are so spread out, it may be impractical just from the distance involved. But we keep having that fantasy that we're going to do that, and we never do it. So who knows if we'll be able to do it or not. The idea behind this class is, this is not, as I said to some already, this is not a college class. This is not, traditional in any way. You're not going to be assigned homework. You're not going to have all kinds of stuff to do other than what you feel you need to do for your business. Our approach is basically to introduce you both to concepts that you might consider, and each of you are in a different place as far as the stage your business is at. We are focused on e-commerce and online. That's kind of our thing more so than physical, although we certainly have opinions about that as well. We have a group of interns here at ECU that you'll have access to that will help you in a variety of ways, whether it's to implement a technology like Shopify or social media management or any number of things that we're going to cover. We do have resources to help you get that stuff done. And we also have relationships with vendors. I mentioned to some of you, we've got two in particular that are technical vendors that can build websites and social media and all that kind of stuff. One of them, and I'll give you all of this detail, one of them is a nonprofit out of Durham called Code the Dream. And what they do primarily is they hire disadvantaged kids, if you will, and train them to be full stack developers. And it's really remarkable. You'll be blown away by these folks. They're really talented, and they're actually funded by Microsoft and Google. They have a lot of resources, and they're nonprofit, and they're actually part of our grant that we got from NC IDEA. So that's a resource that'll be available to you at some level. It'll really depend on you and what you need. And then the other group we have is a company called Webinopoly. They're actually out of Houston, Texas. At one time, they were the #1 Shopify partner worldwide. For some reason, they like us, and the CEO comes and hangs out in class sometimes. And they've done over 5,000 Shopify sites, have 50 full-time developers, and he makes it an unbelievable deal for you all to use Shopify. I promise you won't believe the number he'll quote you and the quality of what they do. And if you go to webinopoly.com, you can see all their websites, a lot of their websites anyway. And if any of them are in the category that you're in, you can probably see how they do their work. But they're a very, very impressive group. Additionally, what we do as time goes on, we'll share with you different ideas and different tools, if you will. So starting with the fact that among each of you, you'll find over time that you'll be able to reach out to people in the class who you feel maybe have something to offer. Maybe they're going through something or have already gone through what you're going through, and you might be able to save some time and get some tips. We get a lot out of the inter-class participation, so don't feel like you can't reach out and talk to me or anyone. Really, it's a real valuable network for all of you. We will attempt to cover just about everything you need to think about relative to having a competitive e-commerce website and related, including social media and something that we're very proud of and we think is really a big deal, and that's live streaming e-commerce, where you sell your product during live streams, which is really an unbelievable opportunity for all of us. We also will have a number of guest speakers through the course, and I never know who's gonna say yes, but I've got the CEO of Etsy is one of them, the CEO of Burt's Bees. We have a number of people that can, I think, will be really helpful to you and give you some ideas of how to grow and how to expand your business, and who've actually done it themselves or been in that position. So I'm really, really excited about that part. I think you'll be really surprised by some of the folks that will be helping you. And they also are very open to your connecting with them. The other thing we have, if you go to acceleraterural.org, that's our illegal website we're not supposed to have as a state agency. So I just claim that the students built it, but we actually built it because we want to provide a lot of resources and we don't want it to be limited by a lot of bureaucracy. So on that website, you'll see a list of the mentors that have signed up to help you all. We have about 35, I think, that are on there. Some of them you may have heard of before, you may know, but all of them are willing to work with you all and help you all. And their orientation, the way I got them involved was because we really feel that the rural areas need help with some of these things. I view this as economic development. If your businesses can grow and you end up hiring people, then that's going to be good for your community. And so these folks are oriented toward that. In some cases, they had no exposure to rural at all. And others, they know a lot about rural areas. So those are resources. If you go through that list and you see somebody that might appeal to you or looks promising, you can reach out to me and I'll connect you with them. We have quite a few women CEOs, quite a few boring old white guys like me, just a bunch of different people who I think have a lot to offer and can help you as you think through your business. I think what someone asked what the website is, acceleraterural.org is the website. But there's a lot of resources on there. That's where the class schedule will be posted. There'll be a calendar there, so you can keep track of what's coming up. We'll post that here shortly, so you'll know each day what class is. If there's a guest speaker, if you want to Google their names or prepare yourself. And the other thing is that this is really intended to be a two-way street. I want you to reach out to me about things that you're wondering about, things you're concerned about, ideas that you might have. We're really wide open in terms of the purpose. It's really not intended to be like a typical college class, if you will, or whatever. It's really much more about what works, what will work for you in your business. And if we have the ability to connect you with someone who's actually been through it and has a similar set of circumstances, then that will save you time if those experiences can help you. So that's basically the plan. This week we're going to have the real first class where you'll actually be learning things is going to be Wednesday, and we're going to do something called the Business Model Canvas. Are any of you familiar with that by any chance? I see some smiles. Okay, so the idea here is really, it's not to teach you the business model canvas, which is fine, you can learn that. But the idea really is to help you discover your potential customers. If you have not done that kind of process, this will be very helpful to you. And we have, some of you may know John Cianamea. He's a great guy. He'll be teaching it Wednesday and Thursday. And it's really good. It's very practical, but it's designed to help you figure out who is your target customer. How do you figure that out? Because if you're really a true startup, I would argue that's your first step, is who are your customers. It's kind of hard to build something not really knowing who is going to be the actual end user. Let's see, I'm trying to think if there's any. Does anyone have any questions at this point? Okay. Is there anything that is really high on your list that would be helpful to bring up in the class context that you would like to do or that you're wondering about?
E-commerce development and expansion through e-commerce is my top priority.
Okay, tell me about e-commerce. What is it for you? What do you define that as?
Yeah, so my company is Plant Energy. We make plant-based protein and superfood mixes. We are based in Apex, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And
I just bought some stuff from you.
Yes, thank you. Yes, so we are, but we aren't so we are currently in over 12 retail stores across the triangle, but we have a very rudimentary, I would say, setup on e-commerce. Like we haven't done a good job on, we do have a Shopify store, but we haven't optimized the store. We definitely need a lot of help around SEO. and then also on social media. So we do organic post, but our products, because some of the technical aspects is because we use hemp, so we are not able to create stores.
Right.
So we definitely need help around e-commerce.
Okay, fantastic. That'll be fun. We can help you. We have a couple hemp companies in the class last time, and we were able to help them quite a bit. One of the things that I mentioned that you'll learn a lot about is this live streaming e-commerce is a really good way to reach an audience, and it's actually more fun than it sounds, because you get to connect with customers using your personality and who you are and what you're all about, which I think is really cool. I mean, I think looking at Amazon pages is so boring, and they're all exactly the same. And how can you tell one thing from another? And not, it's difficult. So I really like the live streaming e-commerce as a way to break through and grow your audience, if you will, your potential customers. So that'll be fun. You guys will enjoy that, I'm pretty sure. So I guess that's about it for today. I just wanted to introduce myself. You obviously have my contact information, so please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And tomorrow we're going to do some more administrative stuff. It'll be a short day like today. We have to do certain things, unfortunately. So and usually folks miss the first day and show up on the second. So I've also learned that's what we have to do. I will say all the classes will be recorded, and the class will be available on our YouTube channel pretty soon after the class. So if you miss a class, you won't have any problem at all catching up and watching the video. They'll be available to you. As well as there's other resources on the website, which over time you'll get to know. I mentioned the calendar. There's also something called an Entrepreneur's Toolkit, which was actually licensed to us for free by Techstars. It's a really amazing resource for startups and entrepreneurs. So I encourage you to check that out also on our website. And we have a number of things that we'll post on there and you make available to you. But because the class is varied in what stage of the business that you're at, it's going to be up to you to make sure I'm aware of things that you want to cover and that you wonder about, because I may not cover it in the normal course of the class. So I don't worry about, you won't insult me, you won't bother me. I really want to hear what you're trying to solve, and anything I can do to help you do that. That's why we're doing this.
So Dennis, will we cover certain things? Like, I'm in the fitness arena, and pre-COVID business was awesome for my gym and my fitness studio. And I still have my storefronts, my physical locations, but I don't have a website. I also am kind of torn on how to add in from a, I guess, going online with some of my classes, as well as being able to set up a web page to where people can sign up online or sign up to even come inside the facility. Will we cover things like that and how to really monopolize?
Yeah, what'll happen is, since that is relatively specialized to the class as a whole, it might be something we'll do a one-on-one. We'll cover generally stuff, but in your specific situation, that's probably a one-on-one that we'll do with the interns, because it's a little too specific for the class itself. Some is good, some is just for you. So it'll be a combination. We don't hesitate to meet one-on-one with you folks, as needed. And if we turn it into a project with the interns, then they'll keep up with you and they'll help you as you say, okay, here are the steps we're going to take, and then they'll help you actually get that done, especially the technical part, which is usually a roadblock to getting that stuff done.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah. Anyone else? One other thing I want to mention that we will cover also, we will cover exporting to China and to other countries. And we think I'm working on a relationship with Alibaba out of China, where we would be able to sell to Chinese consumers. They actually really like certain categories of American products, believe it or not. It's a giant market. So we will cover that. There may be some export opportunities. We are working with the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina. They actually have funds available to help you expand and export out of the US. So that's one thing that we'll do. The other thing we'll do that when I talked about this earlier, I think most of you were not on, but my philosophy about e-commerce and this stuff is I believe you need to be omni-channel. And what I mean by omni-channel is you have to figure out where your customers are most comfortable reaching you, right? It may be your website, it could be Facebook Live, it could be Instagram, it could be a partner website. You know, that's one of the things we'll help you figure out. Which channels should you be active in? You know, people say you've got to be in all channels. I think that's bullshit. I don't believe that because you may find that some channels there's no customers at all. So why would you spend a lot of time on that? To me, it doesn't make any sense. So we will help you figure out what channels, and that includes exporting. That includes partner websites. We support your efforts to go on Amazon, to go on Walmart.com, Target.com. All of those places are potential marketplaces for you or channels that you can sell your product. They all have pros and cons. They all have costs, but the reality is that this idea that there's just one best solution is absolutely untrue. And here's some reasons why. Since the pandemic started, well, before the pandemic started, this is just one statistic, just to give you a sense. Before the pandemic, 1 out of 3 Americans purchased food online. I'm sorry, 1 out of 1,000 Americans. After the pandemic, it's now 1 out of 3 are buying food online. So what's happened is the markets have really changed because of the pandemic. There are a lot more people online who are comfortable buying online than there were before the pandemic. But they also are comfortable with certain places, right? They might be comfortable buying on Etsy, or they might be comfortable buying on Amazon, or whatever. And so that's really the goal for us, is to help you find the channels that work for you. And it'd be great if it'd all be at your website, but the reality is the market is so giant that it might be in some other places as well as your website. So, all right. Well, is there any other thoughts or questions at this point? Yes. Go ahead. Hey, Sean.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shauna Moses. Hi, Dennis.
Hi.
Doing this. So I'm in the hair care and beauty space. My company sells natural hair care products for kinky and curly hair.
Okay.
And so my question to you is, I know you mentioned something about exporting. Will you be covering importing as well in terms of like?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, what we do, we cover a lot about the various wholesale channels that you can explore, right? Like if you're familiar with Fair or Supplied, there's a whole bunch of those companies out there, and we will go through. And if you have one in particular that you want me to cover, I will. But I usually cover Fair, I cover Alibaba, I cover a company called Supplied, which is US based. Actually, all the stuff comes from China, but they bring it to the US, and then it's faster delivery, I guess. So yeah, we will talk about wholesale and sourcing products and that whole thing. Absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of people don't realize this, but when you look at the larger consumer brands, generally speaking, and this is a generalization, but the sales of a big consumer brand are almost always 50% wholesale and 50% retail. A lot of people don't realize that. You know, especially if you're selling to stores and you're selling online, the stores you're selling to wholesale. You're not getting that money when they buy at that store, right? But if you can sell them from your website or a partner website, then it's retail and you're getting a higher margin. So I think that's important. I think the accessing, as you call it, importing or the supply side is important to understand and see what role that plays in your business. But I know of some retail brands where 75% of their sales are wholesale and 25% retail. It's not uncommon at all. So any other questions, ideas?
Yeah, I'm just curious, like, sorry if I've missed the introductions, but did we already kind of, or is it, you know, possible to just introduce each other just so that we know what the other business is?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. What I'm going to do tomorrow, because I expect there'll be at least 5 or 6 more based on my experience, right? So I'm just going to wait, make sure the population is who we think it's going to be. And that's what we'll do tomorrow. That'll be my main activity, because I want to be sure I have all your websites, all your contact information. That's one thing, you know I have everyone's email, but you'll find I'm terrible at keeping track of stuff. So, you know, I may ask you your name 3 or 4 times. Do not be offended. It's just the way I am. It's a pain in the ass. I'm sorry, but that's how I am. But I mean well. So yeah, but that's what we'll do tomorrow. We'll do introductions, and everybody can talk about their business and where they're at. And actually, that's a really important part of the class, because what ends up happening at the end of the class, I'll ask you all to fill out a short survey and tell us about the experience. And without fail, the number one benefit that people get is from each other. And that's what people find most helpful, is to have peers and people that they feel like are in the kind of same boat they are. So that's really cool. So yeah, that's my main thing for tomorrow. That's to make sure you come tomorrow too, right?
Hey, will there be anything regarding apps or app development covered, like in the normal
Yes.
study program?
Yes, we this I'm just going to answer this because it's what I call in the weeds, but I think you need to hear it. So I brought up earlier on Code the Dream and Webinopoly, the 2 technology companies. Both of them are full stack development operations that do mobile apps as well as websites. Okay. But I'm going to tell you about something that I'm a big believer in that's neither one. And that is something called PWA, Progressive Web Apps. If you get a chance to Google that, the industry is moving toward that in a big way. And what it means is the front end of your website acts like an app, but it's not an app. It's a website. It's a specialized website. It acts and performs like an application, but you don't have to download it from the App Store or the Google Play Store and pay the percentage that those guys ask for your sales. What happened in the pandemic, Airbnb decided they couldn't do their regular stuff, so they started offering online experiences. I don't know if you all are familiar with that, but rather than staying in an Airbnb, you would maybe attend a chef's class or a photography class or whatever, and it was online. And boy, did it take off. It went really well. 30 days into it, Airbnb got a letter from Apple and said, you owe us 30% of the revenue from your online experiences because you're using an app that was downloaded from our store. So that pretty much ended this whole concept of apps. So now everybody is moving toward this progressive web app idea. They can work with a Shopify backend in terms of what the customer doesn't see, but the front end acts like an app. So we'll cover all of those, and you'll have access to people who know all of that stuff. Yeah, progressive web apps are really cool. I'll give you an example of real quick. Progressive web app. If any of you use Gmail, Gmail is actually a progressive web app. no matter what device you reach it on, it fits and acts fast like an app. It's not an app, it's a website. But that's an example of a progressive web app. And that's the direction the industry is going. And the other thing is a lot of mobile apps are just really, really expensive to build and really expensive to maintain. It's such a specialized field that your choice of vendors to help you is very, very limited. And they know it. And so, and if you get into the, paying for if you get a letter from Apple or Google telling you owe 30%, that ruins your whole day.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
I'm assuming this is probably going to be covered under the e-commerce part, but will we be covering just different like mail applications?
Yes.
Because okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we're big on that.
Okay.
I think we'll go over just about anything you've ever heard of. And if not, ask me and I'll try to incorporate it. But our goal, just to give you an idea of my background. So I started selling on the internet in 1996 and selling mostly computer parts. Don't ask. I knew nothing about it, but they asked me to be the CEO and we did $50 million of sales in 1999 online, which is crazy, right? And we drop shipped from a part supplier. We never saw a part, never touched it. It was the craziest business I've ever been involved in. So I've been around this for a long time. I have a lot of contacts in the space. So, including potential, I mentioned the 2 companies that can help, but we know other companies as well that might be a better fit for what you're doing. We have the ability to reach out to just about anyone in this space to help you. So, yeah. Any other questions or thoughts? Okay, well, if that's it, that's it. Someone asked a question, do I do anything with nonprofits? The answer is yes. We're agnostic as to what your business model is. Nonprofit is, I would argue most of us are that anyway, for the most part, especially in the beginning. Maybe, we don't qualify technically, but I don't really think that much about the legal structure. Although nonprofits have some unique opportunities that for-profits don't have. I don't know how familiar you are with one of the things that's come up in the IRS. Historically, if you wanted to register your nonprofit as what's called a 501c3, if you're familiar with that, it normally took about 3 years and cost about $40,000 to get that done. They have initiated a new express process that will issue it in 30 days for $400. So, it's a much better way to get a nonprofit than in the past. But we're agnostic about business model, but our job is to help you figure out how to grow whatever the hell you're trying to grow. All right. Any other questions, ideas? I see a lot in the chat here, but Brady, who you'll meet at some point, is supposed to be on here reading all this, and he's not here today. So, oh well, I'll do my best. I can't even see it. It's too far away from me. I'm sitting way back in my chair, but I'll look through these and I'll get back to people with their questions. So again, it's acceleraterural.org. I think we'll cover a lot of stuff. You'll see it on the website, and hopefully we'll figure out a way to everyone can reach out to each other as needed. Also, we'll figure that out. I can't remember how we did that last time. I think everyone just put their email in the chat or something like that. But anyway, we'll figure that out. Thank you all for coming today, and I hope this meets your needs, and I think it will. And we will have fun, even though it's boring being on a computer all the time. We try to make it semi-fun. All right. Well, that's
Thank
all I
you.
got.
Thank
See
you.
tomorrow. See you
Bye,
tomorrow.
everybody. Take
Bye,
care.
everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.